What's good, everybody? Welcome in to Early Edge Live. What a show this is going to be. Why? Because we have a fantastic game tonight, a battle in the AFC West. The 5-4 LA Chargers taking on the 7-2, the only team in the AFC with only 2 losses to their name. Of course, me and Mikey's Kansas City Chiefs. So let's bring in the stars of the show, because on Sunday nights and Monday nights, I bring the absolute very best. So I got to start, because we've been protecting the no-hitter. We've been feeling it. And I don't think anybody's going to say anything, Alex, that your winning streak of 10 straight weeks came to an end. But even when you lose, you still win for the people at home. What am I talking about?
Coach, yes. Rest in peace to the 10 consecutive profitable weeks in a row. Unfortunately, it did come to an end today. However, we did give out a plus 550 same game parlay this morning on our preview kickoff stream. It cashed. So that was obviously very nice to see in that Bears-Falcons game. So plus 550. Hopefully some of you were able to recoup some of the losses from me this week.
Even if they played all 5, they still won in the parlay more than they would have. So it's still plus money. So technically, Alex, you still have a winning week. Technically. All right. Now, we're going to have a goose tonight. We also have a donkey from one of our very, very best. And it doesn't matter if it's fantasy or if it's sports betting or what sport it is. Live from Nashville, Tennessee, the penthouse level. M Squared. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Coach. See ya, Proppy. Great to see you guys fired up for another Kansas City Chiefs primetime game. I'm sure you guys that don't like the Chiefs probably get sick of them, but it's Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert in primetime. How can you not love this matchup?
I mean, and this is the one matchup, Mike, and you and I know this about as good as anybody. They do not always match up well against the Chargers. It's a very difficult team for them to beat. So tonight, we're here for it. We got a lot to discuss. Now, finally, he is the most handsome man in all of the Early Edge universe, Sia Najad. How was your afternoon, sir?
It was pretty good. It would have been so much better if Dalvin Cook wasn't game scripted out of the game. But that was a prop I lost. I ended up going 2-2 from the prop show. So that stops my winning streak. I was on quite a long run there as well. So I batted 500. But man, if I had Dalvin Cook going, Mike and I do the Fantasy Football Today DFS show, and we've been doing really well. If Dalvin Cook really cooked, I would have been in really good shape. By the way, on that 12 o'clock show where we go over all our bets and our props and all of that stuff, I mentioned get Tony Pollard in your lineup, and that was on the back of Alex's prop, of course. But a lot of people weren't really going to Tony Pollard because they weren't sure what the share was going to be with Zeke. And I tried to boldface the fact that you need to get Tony Pollard in your lineup for a variety of different reasons. And hopefully people on that 12 o'clock show listened.
What are you talking about? He only ran for 80 yards, and he only caught for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. Why would you ever play him at those numbers?
Yeah, you know what's funny, though? How about if Zeke just misses that game? And Tony Pollard gets the extra rushing touchdown that Zeke got from the 1 yard line and a couple more yards. I mean, Tony Pollard is just so talented.
So talented. There's a lot of you out there, just like some of our crew, just like myself. Like I was on the Cowboys over. I told you it was my favorite play of the week. And the Cowboys scored 40. If I just saw a score, I said Cowboys scored 40, I would bet everything that I have that over came in. But it did not, because the Vikings are frauds. Absolute frauds. All right, let's put that behind us, because we have a great game to talk about. For those of you that are brand new to these live shows in the evening, we do our best bets first. Then we do any prop that you're thinking about or I want to ask the guys about. Put it into the chat. Put the juice with it. It helps a lot. And then at the top of the hour, we'll do a donkey same-game parlay, a goose same-game parlay. We'll do the gym. If you think you know who's going to score the first touchdown of the game tonight, plus 1,000 odds or higher, put it into the chat. And you can join us in the club, as it's getting very, very busy in the club with members of the crew and members of the universe. Did you think I was going to say something there? See, I'm not going to say something every time. See, you were waiting for it.
I was. And for the record, I know what Dave Richards' pick is, and I wish I had taken it. It's such a good pick. It's such a smart pick, and you'll have to wait till the end of the show. But for those of you that don't know, Dave Richards is going to be submitting a pick on this show as well, and I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, he was very offended the other day. He goes, I was offended. He goes, how do I actually get into the club? What are the rules? It's week 10, Dave. Watch the show. Watch the show. All right, so let's get into it, because we have a lot to talk about. Now, there are players and talent all over the board tonight. So the easy thing to do would be to play all the overs. We know we can't do that. So where do we start, Najad? Where do we start?
Well, we're going to start with my official play is Justin Watson over a mere 23.5 receiving yards at -110. And some of you, or -115, some of you might be thinking, well, Justin Watson, who is he again? Well, so here's the thing. Here's why he's relevant. Juju and McColl are out. I think everybody kind of knows that. And everybody knows that Kadarius Toney is kind of that guy, or at least might be that guy. And I agree, by the way. I think Kadarius Toney, his route participation, his snap share, it's going to pick up and it's going to increase. And he's going to, potentially outside of Kelsey, might be the leading target getter at the wide receiver position. But I actually think Justin Watson might be second in line. And I'm not talking about routes necessarily, because we know Marcus Valdes-Scantling will be on the field quite a bit, and he'll run more routes than Justin Watson, and definitely more routes than Kadarius Toney, by the way. But he simply doesn't get targeted. Justin Watson, with McColl and Juju out, is in a really good spot to get targeted. And by the way, last week he was on the field quite a bit before and after Juju went out. Justin Watson ran over 70%. He ran routes on over 70% of Patrick Mahomes' dropbacks. I really like him in this spot against a very bad Los Angeles Chargers defense. We know that Patrick Mahomes is slotted to throw for about 300 yards. That's his over-under. It's like 296.5, depending on where you look. I do think a handful of those go to Justin Watson. He can catch the long ball too, so it wouldn't shock me at all if Justin Watson hits this in one simple catch.
All right, and that defense is bad, and the Chiefs will get the ball a lot tonight. It's going to be going bad. It's going to be an absolute track meet on a fast track. By the way, in the chat, they're asking about Toney over 53.5. Uncle Dave, his best bet in this game is Toney. He gave it out on Friday at 50.5. Alex, would you still like this at 53.5 for Uncle Dave?
I do. I think there's a little bit of wiggle room there.
Okay, very, very good. All right, so there you go, Alden. That's the first one. Put it in there. Now, our next, I'm going to come right back to Proppy, because you said prior to the show, and I wish everybody could be in our pre-production meeting. It's fun. But you said, Coach, I encourage you. And when you say this, I'm playing it right away. I encourage you to play my play tonight. And you went like this. I'm all in. Let the people know.
Yeah, I like this quite a bit, and I'm going to explain why. It's Isaiah Pacheco over 55.5 rushing yards. Before I break down this play, I want to mention and plug and promote myself a little bit. I give out a weekly column. I know a lot of you guys read that column. That column includes my favorite long shot of the week, and it's usually a bet that has at least plus 2,500 odds. My favorite long shot from this week that I gave out, if you read my column, was Isaiah Pacheco to lead the day today, Sunday, in rushing yards. And that was at plus 3,000. I believe there were something like 20 running backs with better odds than Pacheco. Nobody really had a great day today. So if he goes over 110 yards, Coach, we are cashing a plus 3,000 play on Pacheco. So let's go Pacheco. But love this spot for the young rookie running back, over 55.5 yards. He's coming off a 16 carry, 82-yard game against a very stout Jacksonville defense. He's firmly entrenched as the Chiefs lead back. I could see him potentially getting 15 to 18 rushing attempts tonight. Now he's going up against the Chargers. They are 29th in rushing DVOA, 30th in EPA allowed per rush. They're surrendering 147 yards per game on the ground. Only the Texans have given up more yards this season to opposing running backs. Pacheco has shown some really, really solid explosion and burst in the backfield. We also have two of the Chiefs' top wide receivers, and Juju and McCole Hardman out in this game. The Chargers are also one of the biggest run funnels. So I could see the Chiefs, who are always one of the most pass-heavy teams in the NFL, being a little more run-heavy, especially after that really impressive performance last week against the Jags. Had an early fumble. They obviously trust him because they kept going back to him, ended up with that really good game. So let's go Isaiah Pacheco over 55.5 yards. I'd play it up to 57, 58.5. And if he goes over 109, Coach, we cash plus 3,000 bet as well.
So he just has to go over 109 tonight.
For plus 3,000, yes.
Plus 3,000. All right. Well, the last time we were heavy on a Chargers game, for those of you who may not watch every time, what did we catch there with that?
We cashed a plus 2,500 ticket on Austin Eckler to score 3 touchdowns.
And I think he's going to find the end zone tonight, too. I really do. They never stop. They never, ever stop. All right. So you're getting so much information and only 2 best bets. That's what the show is all about. It's not just about the picks. It's about the information. If you're not a SportsLine member, you don't get that article either. That's worth it just for that. All right. Now, Mikey, I'm looking down here, and I know that one half of your teaser just walked off in Denver and won on the field, which means the other half of your teaser is live and ready to go Talk to me.
Yeah, other half of the teaser here is going to be Kansas City Chiefs on the money line to finish that one out, -0.5. So it's the same thing as a money line play here in this particular spot. Look, my number has moved against me at this point. This was played on Tuesday when I did not believe that both Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were going to play. I thought for a while we were going to have Everett in there as well. He has been ruled inactive, which was a little bit of a surprise. It sounded like he was going to ultimately play. Yeah, we like the Chiefs to ultimately get the win here in this spot. I think that it'll be a very, very competitive game like it usually is in the division here. And I'm still riding Kansas City to come out on top here.
All right. I like them a lot, too. They've shown this year sometimes, whether it's the Colts or the Jags or the Titans, that sometimes they're not laser focused. When it's a really, really good team, they come out fired up and ready to play. See the San Francisco 49ers. All right. I'm going to give my play next. Now, so far this year, through 9 games, Patrick Mahomes is averaging 326 yards a game. He is on pace to break the all-time season mark for yardage, over 5,000 yards. You don't think here in Week 11 they know that? And you don't think that this is going to be the way they play the rest of the time? I know what Proppy said. They might run a little bit more, but he could have several big plays tonight. I love this number, over 293.5, and I just checked. You can still get that number in several books, and I would play it up 300. He goes over 300 every single game, except the last time they played the Chargers. But they will tonight. I promise you that. All right, now, voice of God. Where's the voice of God?
Well, hello, gentlemen.
There he is. So, voice of God. There's so many people watching right now. There's so many people in the chat. Could you please tell us maybe something that you could bless us and bestow on us for tonight's game, sir?
Doth thou once said pick? We are going to deliver 2 for you here. All right, first off, we're going to go. All right. Chiefs team total over 29.5. First, we're getting it under that key number of 30. But second, let me go ahead and give you your Chick-fil-A nugget of the day, of the night right here. The Chiefs, 6 straight road primetime games with 34-plus points, the longest streak by any team since the year 2000. The Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes deliver on the road in primetime games. We're going to play that over 29.5. We are also opening up the no-fly zone tonight. Justin Herbert is putting one in the air. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to let the graphic do the talking here on what our man has been doing as of late. You see it. All right, weeks 1 through 2, 6 touchdowns to 1 interception. Weeks 3 through 9, 8 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Our man has been putting them in the air because his passer rating has gone way down, and they have found themselves playing from behind as the Chargers normally do. So we're going to put the no-fly zone up tonight.
It says, pay no attention to the man in the janitor's closet. That's a Wizard of Oz reference. Sinful Saint says, God sounds like a little white guy with a beautiful smile and probably a hat and flannel on. Very specific.
Wow. Hey, somebody's seen the Lord. All right,
yeah.
no, okay.
There you go. All right, AB, we appreciate you very, very much. I just, by the way, got that Chiefs team total. I made the bet in real time at 28.5. So that 29.5 number is still live. Still good at a lot of books. All right. Now, many of you have already put in the chat. We've got a lot to talk about as far as other players are concerned. So we already talked about Tony, over 53.5, and Alex liked that. Let me come to you. Longest reception for your play, Sia, is at 15.5. Would you like that play for Watson?
Not really. Again, this is one of those situations we had in the morning where I expect Watson. I mean, if you like the 15.5, you probably should be liking the 23.5 or wherever you get the number. So I just prefer to go with his over, because I think he's getting at least 2 catches. And I actually think he's getting closer to 3 or 4. I would just go with the 23.5. Okay. First of all, I do also like that number, but if you're picking between the two, I like the total yardage number.
Okay, very good. Now, Alex, let me come to you because we already mentioned Austin Eckler. And when they play well, he's a huge part of this offense. Now, he's got those 2 big weapons coming in on the outside. That should help him a lot tonight, I think. But I'm coming to you. Last time they played the Chiefs, he ran for 39 and he caught 55. So that'd be 94 combo yards. Funny, his number tonight is 92.5 combo and 43.5 on the ground.
Yeah, both interesting numbers. I think they're fairly efficient here. I do agree with you, Coach, that Mike Williams and Keenan Allen should take a little bit of pressure off of him. However, he was getting just serious usage in the passing game, was getting 10-plus targets per game. I do think that number is going to come down. I could see it offset a little bit by some increased efficiency. As far as Eckler props, though, what I think have the most value are definitely going to be his receiving props, particularly the receiving yards. I don't think there's a lot of value in the 5.5 receptions, but I do think you can find the receiving yards between 42 and 45.5. There is some value there. The Chiefs give up a ton of production to opposing running backs, particularly through the air. We know that's Austin Eckler's strongest skill set as well. So he should be heavily utilized in the short area passing game. Obviously, that 2-minute drill, hurry up offense, he gets a ton of targets in those situations. So I like Austin Eckler's receiving yards the most. That would be my favorite. If I had to choose my next favorite, it would probably be the combination line, then his receiving, and then his rushing. But I'm only interested in really the receiving yards as a play.
All right, that is 45.5 for those of you wondering on Austin Eckler and his receiving number. All right, Mikey, let me come to you. Last week, it was one of the great cashes, maybe of all time, for Alex. We had Travis Kelce over 77.5 receiving yards on 4th down to secure the game. Sitting on 77, he caught a 4-yard pass. That number's right back there tonight. 6.5 catches, 77.5 is the number. Is it going to be a big night for Travis Kelce?
Look, it's never one that's fun to fade, but I'm not sure it's going to be a huge night for him. There's a couple interesting things working here against him. He's talked openly about how he hates playing on this surface that they're playing on in this particular stadium. So that's one thing that I'm keeping an eye on very, very closely. But I think we're going to see Kadarius Toney featured a lot. I think they're going to have a little success on the ground with Pacheco. I think it's going to be one of those situations where I think the number's mostly efficient. It's never comfortable to go under. I'm not going under on it. But if I had to lean any way, it would be towards the under just because of the additional attention he's going to draw without some of those other weapons for Patrick Mahomes. And it's a matchup that they play so frequently.
There you go. These divisional matchups, man, these teams know each other so well. Now, Dan in the chat says, have you guys talked about Keenan Allen's numbers? We haven't, because there really aren't any numbers out, because I'm assuming the sports books, Alex, don't really know what to do with Keenan Allen. My book has no Keenan Allen props. Has anybody seen any numbers anywhere on Keenan Allen, Alex?
Yeah, I believe Keenan Allen, I want to say I saw a 34.5 on DraftKings. I could be mistaken. That might have moved up a little bit. 33, 32, Mike?
42.
42. Okay. Yeah, I think it actually opened in the mid to high 30s. And it's obviously since steamed up a bit. I know Mike Williams, I want to say, is 44.5. Listen, I think those are both attractive numbers. I don't think Keenan Allen and Mike Williams would be active tonight if they weren't going to. I don't know if they'll play, 98% of snaps, but I definitely anticipate them being out there on the majority of dropbacks. And I don't think that they would risk playing them if they weren't pretty close to 100%, considering Keenan Allen was so close to returning at so many different points throughout the season, and they've been very cautious with him. So I'd assume he's going to play a good amount. So I definitely think that's an attractive number, and got no problem taking it.
All right, I'm coming to Mikey, and then I got one for you afterwards. So Mike Williams, the chat's asking about him on the other side. Some have him at 60.5. My book still has 57.5 juice to minus 123, Mikey. Do you think that if he is healthy, because the last time he went north of 100, I think, against the Chiefs the last time, and tonight we only need 57.5.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. It's one that I'm probably going to play with fire and bet it in game just after I've seen him run a route or two. But I do lean towards the over pretty significantly. This is a line in this particular matchup. If he were healthy, I would expect the line to be 78.5 in this particular matchup. The number is definitely hedged for not knowing how healthy he is. I am in the camp that believes he's going to be more healthy than Keenan Allen or more productive than Keenan Allen. They also are going to take deeper shots down the field to him. He's someone who can routinely have 40-yard catches against this kind of a defense. So I'm looking at it. I haven't bet it. If you've got 56.5, like I'm seeing, that's a really good number. I would probably start there, put a quarter of what your normal bet would be on it, and then potentially look to live bet it as well. But yeah, it's one that if he's healthy and active, I think he approaches 100 yards in this game.
All right. Well, I just played it. Thank you, Mikey, at 57.5. And the juice is not even that bad, minus 125. All right, let me come to you, Sia, because I love talking to you about quarterbacks. We've already talked about Mahomes. You know I'm playing his yardage prop. He's having a monster year. But tonight, and the Chargers, in a must-win situation, they need Justin Herbert to have a monster game. Here's what his numbers sit at. Over 277.5. 38.5 on the attempts. Completion, I don't have a number yet. Don't know why. If somebody can help me with that, I'd love it. And then his touchdown is juiced very high to the over 1.5. You can't play that. It's like minus 190 to throw 2 touchdowns. So do you like Herbert to have a big game tonight?
I do. And for the record, I looked at that over 1.5 touchdowns as well. And I was unpleasantly surprised to see how it was juiced. I do see the one thing that worries me in this game is I do think, and this is to Alex's prop too, to Isaiah Pacheco, that Kansas City can kind of choose how they are going to try to beat the Los Angeles Chargers. They can obviously do it through the pass, but they can also do it through the run. And I just wonder if there's a few long possessions here that limit Herbert's opportunity to really pass for a lot of yards in every single quarter of this game. With that said, I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball at all. I just don't think that's going to be the game plan for them, especially with their new weapons back. I think they're going to have to pass it, and they're probably going to start doing that early. So, yeah, my lean is to the over there, especially considering what we're likely to see in the fourth quarter. And if Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are healthy, he could pick up, of that 277, he could pick up easily 100 of those yards just in the fourth quarter.
There's no question about that. It's amazing how bad both of these defensive backfields truly are. And Alex, let me come to you, because when we look at some other players, we've talked about Kelsey, Williams, Keenan Allen. Is there a player that, because I love when you give me just a lean, somebody that could have a spike game that maybe we're not thinking about on either side?
Yeah, I really like Sia's play of Justin Watson. I think that was a very sharp look. I wouldn't surprise me to see this guy be on the field for the majority of Patrick Mahomes' dropbacks, especially without Juju Smith-Schuster and without McCole Hardman. I actually saw some people predict he might even play more snaps than Kadarius Toney. So I think, Justin Watson, very sharp play. That would be my look. I like Gerald Everett as far as other Chargers go, but I think Watson on the Chiefs is a very good look.
Okay. So I think we have answered all of them. They're asking about completion for Herbert attempts. Those are very, very I think we would lean to the over, Mikey, wouldn't we, on Herbert's completion and attempts tonight?
Would lean that way. I'd like to see what the number is. I can tell you where my number is.
38.5 is the attempts, and I do not have a number on completions.
Yeah, it looks like I'll be leaning over on both. I have just over 39 on the attempts, and I have 26 on the completions. I'm guessing it's probably 38 and 25 if I had to guess.
Okay.
It looks like I'm going to be basically one above market.
Okay, very good. We'll lean to the over. All right, so those are our props that we were playing for the evening. So now we've got a few things to do. You know what we do. We get the hell out of Dodge and enjoy the game with all of you at home. All right, don't forget, we're going to have World Cup picks in every single show, morning show anyway, starting tomorrow, 3 games, and we hit our first play today. So the other kind of football is going to be here for 29 days. I'm here for it. All right, boys, we've got to get to the goose. Where are we at on likes? We're at 259. That's where we're at right now on likes. All right, here's what we're going to do. I need 500 likes to give out the donkey, to give out the goose. So I need to get to 500 right now. If you haven't hit that like button, take it down, hit the like button, put the chat right back up, and keep on talking. So we'll go through our best bets one more time and maybe make people come a little bit earlier than 8 o'clock. And then once we get to 500, we'll do the donkey, we'll do the goose, and we'll do the gym. So, AB, if you don't mind, throw that screen up there one more time, 15 seconds or so on each best bet. Mikey, tell me why you like the Chiefs tonight.
I like the Chiefs because I think they're the better team. Patrick Mahomes is doing incredible things. Now we've got Kadarius Toney in there. These games are always competitive. It was a spot where I took a chance on the guys not playing. 2 of the 3 are playing. Still like the Chiefs to win the game.
Proppy, why do you like Mr. Pacheco?
I was just very encouraged by his performance last week against the Jaguars. Had an early fumble in the red zone. Didn't matter. He still had a very good game versus a very good, stout Jaguars front 7. Much softer run defense in this Chargers defense. One of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Been very encouraged. He is firmly entrenched as the lead back for the Chiefs. Love him over 55.5 rushing yards tonight.
All right. Uncle Dave is on Kadarius Toney over 50.5 receiving yards. That's up to around 53.5 right now. We would still play it there. See ya. Talk to me about Mr. Justin Watson.
Yeah, Justin Watson. I have him over 23.5 receiving yards. And by the way, it's 22.5 in some places and 24.5 in other places. So people just don't know what to do with Justin Watson. Fine with me. Juju and McCall are out. This is a kid that's 6'2", 215 pounds, runs a 4.49 40 against a bad secondary, and knowing that his snap share is going to be high and likely his target share is going to be higher than normal. I think Justin Watson is a solid play, whether it's you're taking his over or in DFS or anything like that. 1,400 on DraftKings, by the way.
I love when one of you guys finds a player the sports books have not caught up with yet. And that's what this play feels like to me. It really, really does. All right, voice of God, explain yourself on your 2 picks, please.
Yes, sir. And I'll tell you what, we're going to not be as blasphemous this time so that we can have some good karma and hit these bets. First, we're going to go Chiefs team total over 29.5. As mentioned, the Chiefs 6 straight road primetime games with 34+ points. Also, I'll say this, Patrick Mahomes in his last 6, all right, he averages 357 passing yards and he has 20 touchdowns in those 6 games. The man is a beast. Also, we're going to go Justin Herbert. The no-fly zone is open tonight over half an interception.
Well, your first reason, AB, is why I'm playing Patrick Mahomes over 293.5. Just prove me wrong, Chargers. Prove me wrong that you're going to keep him like the first game when he only had 235, and that was a low mark for him this year. Tonight, he's got pride. He wants to show out. Primetime game in Los Angeles. It's going to be 3 bills and above for Mr. Mahomes. By the way, Mikey, let me come to you. I need Travis Kelce, Trey says, with a touchdown to cash a parlay. Do I let it ride? Cash out.
I would let it ride at this point for sure. I just because we're staying off his under or his yardage does not mean we don't think he won't find the end zone or be involved. It's just a big number on the yardage. So yeah, I like him to score touchdowns still.
And usually in big games, in games where it's going to be ultra competitive, Patrick Mahomes has the tendency to go to the guys that he loves the most. And that is number 87, especially inside of the red zone. Inside of the red zone. Thank you, Alex, for agreeing with me. That makes me feel a lot better when you do that, by the way. All right, so we are approaching the top of the hour. So those are our best bets for tonight. Now, we give you same game parlays every single primetime game. Earlier today, Alex did you a solid because we didn't have one Thursday because the props didn't come out till later. And guess what? We hit plus 525 already today. But let's hit at least 2, maybe 3 of these. So, Mikey, we're going to have you go first. It's time. It's time. It's time for the donkey. Give it to me.
All right, donkey parlay here. I've used a boost on this of 25%. It goes up to plus 625. Excuse me, sick over here. Chargers plus 15.5 on an alt spread. Justin Herbert over 229.5 passing yards. Patrick Mahomes over 249.5. And then our receiving props, Austin Eckler 29.5. Jerick McKinnon 19.5 for Kansas City. Justin Watson over 9.5 receiving yards. And then finally, Kadarius Toney over 34.5 receiving yards. Plus 500 or plus 625 if you play the boost.
I know you're feeling under the weather, but I have a feeling around 11:30 Eastern tonight, you're going to be feeling a little bit better. Just a hunch. Just a hunch. Now, that's the donkey, but we give you 2. We give you the goose, too, because we love all of our mascots here at the Early Edge. Alex, you're up.
Yeah, there we go. And before I give the goose, I just want to quickly correct myself. I mentioned Gerald Everett. He is inactive tonight. I meant to say Joshua Palmer, wide receiver of the Chargers. Anyway, on to the goose. This is a baby goose at plus 380 odds. First up, I don't have a anytime touchdown scorer in this one. But first up, we've got the Chiefs over 21 points. The Chargers over 17 points. Justin Herbert to throw for at least 230 yards. Isaiah Pacheco, the man of the hour, over 40 rushing yards. Austin Eckler over 30 receiving yards. Kadarius Toney over 35 receiving yards. And last but not least, Keenan Allen over 25 receiving yards. Add it all together and hopefully what is a high-scoring shootout between 2 explosive offenses, plus 380 for the baby goose.
Oh, I love the baby goose. Now, tonight, the game is in Los Angeles, about 50 miles from where I'm sitting right now. LA is one of the great party cities in America. But also there's a lot of house parties out here as well because everything closes early. That could be good for part of our crew because there's several of us that are in the club. And by the way, by tomorrow night, I would like to have the club named. Somebody's going to win an early edge gift pack. If you can name the club, we have some pretty good ones so far. See, it didn't like any of them, but the rest of us love them. Absolutely love them. So if you're brand new to the show, you want to play with us, pick out a player that you think will score the first touchdown of the game. It's got to be at least plus 1,000 or higher. You can't pick Travis Kelce. That's against the rules. And if you win, then you get to pop bottles in the club, you get to talk with all your friends, and you get to ignore everybody outside. That's the best part. All right, Mikey named it. Mikey was the very first winner when this was the Van Jefferson. That seems so long ago now, doesn't it? But that was plus 4,000. I remember it like it was yesterday. So, Mikey, it is with honor and respect that I hand it off to you first. Who do you like?
We're going Kadarius Toney tonight, plus 1,000 where I played it. Look, I love the spot for him. I love the involvement that he's going to have. I love the weapon that he is in the red zone. Look, he can run the football. He can catch the ball. I think it's a great spot for him. I think they continue to feature him here. Got to play it when it's within the rules at plus 1,000.
You have to. Sometimes the way the game script, you can sneak these in. But we would never question you, Mikey, like some of those others that have put some in at certain numbers. All right, so Mikey's first. Now, the first person to get into the club this year, that little stupid smile on your face is just, it goes, this guy. All right, Alex, you're up. Who do you like?
Yeah, I believe it was still called the Van Jefferson Memorial back when Sia got in. Just want to point that out. But we are going with Big Mike Williams, plus 1,200 on DK. I believe he has scored 12 touchdowns in his last 23 games, if I'm not mistaken. This guy is a big-time weapon back on the field for the first time since coming off of injured reserve. He could have a big game. Both Cousin Sia and Mikey mentioned how he could be heavily utilized and involved tonight. Love myself some Big Mike Williams.
This one's very fishy. Very fishy.
Oh, you best believe I have a receipt, Coach.
Hey, I didn't say it wasn't true. I just said it was fishy. I know you've got receipts. That's what I hate about you. You always have receipts. All right, so that is Proppy. Who was the next one to get into the club, Alex? I can't. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. AB.
We are here, sir. And we are coming live from the club right now. And I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and reserve our second stool at the bar by going with our man, Isaiah Pacheco, at plus 1,000. And something to pay attention to tonight. It looks like the CEH experiment might be coming to an end week after week. Pacheco continues to get more usage. We're going to take him plus 1,000.
I mean, he's faster, stronger, better, can adjust. He just does everything better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. All right, so now I'm just looking at my notes here, and no. It would be this guy that gets to go next in the club because 2 weeks ago, Sunday night, you all remember it, right? I was hurrying up to get out of here, heading to an Anaheim Ducks game against the Florida Panthers. The over came in that night on the ice. And as I'm walking through the parking lot, there it comes up. McCole Hardman, respect, out tonight, catching the first touchdown from Patrick Mahomes and getting me into the club. I did a toast for him. So tonight, I know you can't believe this, but I'm going to go with DeAndre Carter at plus 1,700. I know he plays for the Chargers, but I don't think this is going to be a 7-7 game. Both teams are going to score. I think they're going to come out fired up, get a lead. That feeds into all of our props that we have tonight. Last week, 4 catches, 64 yards, and he has 1 touchdown, and it'll be 2 tonight. All right. Sia, you're up next.
I am indeed. And by the way, the Van Jefferson Memorial, thank you, Mike, for inspiring that. I've actually hit 3 since that time. 3 first touchdowns, 3 gems, if you will. So that's pretty good. I don't know if anybody else has ever done that. We'll have to go back and check that out. By the way, a name for this club. This was actually in the chat, like, I don't know, 2 primetime shows ago, I believe. I can go back and find it. Somebody wanted to name it the Pylon, as in like the pylon in the end zone. I think that's pretty appropriate, especially since if you don't hit the pylon, if you don't make it, they pile on you, just like you all have been piling on me for about 6 or 7 weeks. I think the Pylon is a really great name. I want to give credit where it's due. I don't know who introduced it, but anyway, I'm going to be in club maybe Pylon tonight because I am winning with Jerick McKinnon at plus 1,700. Listen, it's pick your poison, right? You got to cover Kelsey. You got to cover the receivers on the outside. I think Jerick McKinnon is one of those guys. We know how many receptions he's been getting over the last couple of games. I think you scheme him specifically to get some work on maybe a 3rd down play when Isaiah Pacheco is off the field, or even on 1st or 2nd down, because we know Andy Reid likes to be different when he gets inside the 5 and 10 yard line. So give me Jerick McKinnon for the gem.
Very interesting. Faustino has the line of the night. He said it's called the Chalk as Hell Club. I agree, Faustino. We're very chalky tonight. I don't mind Club Pylon. I don't. You could name the club So There. Interesting. All right. But I will pick out a winner, and it will be something good, and we will have a graphic, and that will be the name of the club forever. Forever, ever, 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 and ever. All right. So we've done everything that we could possibly do.
Hey, Coach, I'm going to interrupt your flow directly from the club. Someone has to give out Dave Richard's pick for tonight.
My apologies, God. So there's 2 I didn't give out. Sorry, Snake. So Snake is on Marquez Valdez-Scantling plus 1,600. He's just been a really good receiver for the Chiefs, and he's as good as anybody on that side to break open and score the first touchdown. And then Uncle Dave is on Justin Watson, which, of course, is Sia's best bet tonight to have a good game at plus 1,500. Sia, in all seriousness, if Dave hits this tonight, what will your reaction be?
Well, he has my unyielding support as long as it's a 24-yard catch or higher. I want Dave to get into the club. Listen, there's a misconception here. Just because I was giving you guys a bunch of stuff last year because I constantly kept hitting the gem, otherwise known as the VJM, it's not that I don't want you all in the club. I'm glad you're in there, and I'm glad I'm not in there, to be honest with you. I want you guys to have your time because when I get in there, it's all VIP and all that stuff. I don't like it.
It's brutal. It's a brutal answer. A true heel would not have said that. By the way, Vassar says, I need Coach back on ESPN. Why? I'm having a lot more fun now. Who are you talking to? Back on ESPN, please. I'm not going to move back there. I love this. I love CBS. I love SportsLine. I love all of it. I'll never go back there. All right. Now, you guys know we like to end every one of our shows asking my cappers to be used for tonight or maybe into the future. What's the number one most important thing that they're looking for? Because they have their own really smart eyes and really smart takes, and that's why you come here, to hear them and to hear what they're looking forward to. So, Mike, if you don't mind, start us off, please.
Yeah, just looking forward to another edition of this division rivalry here. I'm watching Kadarius Toney like we all are, but I'm most interested in the health of Mike Williams. That's where I think the in-game opportunity exists tonight.
There you go. I encourage you to follow Mikey on social media. He's usually tweeting out, hey, I would do this. Hey, I would do this. And you can ask him questions. He'll answer sometimes. But you got to follow. See ya. Talk to me.
This is such an interesting part of the season because I've been going into the season, the entire season, I've been saying the Bills are the best team, the Bills are the best team, the Bills are the best team. Well, they're in a position now where they're not even going to have home field advantage if Kansas City keeps rattling off wins. And going into the Chargers, I know the Chargers are down a lot of guys on offense, the offensive line specifically, and on defense, but it's still a tough spot for them to win. And if they do, I think they're coasting to potentially the number 1 seed. And that's a big, big deal come playoff time.
It really, really is. And just for the record, so everybody knows, they're 1 game ahead. They have to finish a game ahead of Buffalo because the Bills beat the Chiefs head up, and that's the first tiebreaker. All right, Alex, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm excited to see rookie running back Isaiah Pacheco tonight. He has a big game. If he can top 109 yards, we will cash a plus 3,000 ticket that I know a lot of you guys tailed as well. So that is what I'm hoping to see.
I can tell you at home that there is nothing that my crew likes better than winning a big number for you guys at home. It's the best thing, and it means more to them than anything. I can promise you that. The one thing I'm looking forward to tonight is seeing the Chiefs when they're in a game that they have to come out laser focused. You can't play like you did against the Titans or the Jags or the Colts, who they lost to, by the way. You can't do that and be the number 1 seed and go to the Super Bowl and get it done. So tonight needs to be the night they say, you know what? We are the best team, and we're going to show out and show everybody that everything comes through Kansas City. All right. Vassar says, sorry, coach, just saying ESPN needs you most. Oh, I know what you meant. I'm just not going back there, but we appreciate you being here. All right. Let's have a great time tonight. Enjoy this game. Finally, powerhouse against powerhouse. And right here, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Sunday night tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, damn it, do I love them all. C Najad, Prop Stars, M Squared, AB, the voice of God. On the ones and the twos, I am the coach. We're every single day tomorrow morning, early edge and 5 at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Then, of course, Monday Night Football. Are the 49ers for real? We'll be here to break it down all tomorrow night right here. Only one place, the Early Edge. Good luck.